Welcome to the channel, and today I want to talk about 1 month with the iPad mini A17 Pro. So as I mentioned, I've had my iPad mini now, A17 Pro, for a month, and what do I think of this so far after a month? So as a first-time iPad mini owner, I absolutely love it. I love the blue colour I went for. I think it was the best choice of all the colours I've seen. It's a lovely blue finish, and it works really well with the Apple Pencil. It is a very iterative upgrade over the iPad mini 6. So if you're looking at this coming from an iPad mini 6, well, look at whether you should upgrade later on. I don't think it's necessarily worth it if you're happy with the 6, but it does have some upgrades on it that are useful. So I will go over that and how I found it over the past month or so. So which model did I choose and why? So this is the blue one, as I've mentioned, with the 256 gigabytes of storage and Wi-Fi only, so it's got no cellular at all. So as you all know, I might have mentioned this before on the channel, I am not a cellular fan. I'm not particularly bothered about cellular on any of the iPads. I've had them before and I've never used it. So I really want people to get involved in the comments on this video and let me know if you use the cellular on your iPad. And if you, I've seen a few people have gone for the cellular on the internet and talked about it. So if you use the cellular and use it a lot, let me know why, because I can just tether this to my phone and it saves me buying another data plan because I've got unlimited data on my phone. I appreciate some people might not have that, but it works really well. So Apple started this lineup a bit differently. So they upgraded the storage on it. So they went from the 64 gigabytes iPad mini on the 6 to the 128 gigabytes on the mini 7, which is a very minor upgrade in my opinion, because 128 gigabytes is still not enough. So I went for the 256 gigabyte model, which I think is the sweet spot. 512 for the mini is probably a bit too much, but considering the power that's in this thing now, which I'll talk about in a minute, you could go for the 512 gigabyte model and use it as your main iPad really, because that's exactly what I've been doing over the past month. So what's the big upgrade on the iPad then? The biggest upgrade that has come about on this iPad is the chip. So it now supports an A17 Pro CPU, which is a bin down version of the chip in the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. So Apple have taken a few cores out of it and stuck it in the mini. This makes it much faster than the original A14 chip in the iPad mini 6. So it's a couple of generations quicker. So why have they done this? Essentially, they've done it so it supports Apple Intelligence. The A14 chip in the Mini 6 couldn't support Apple Intelligence, so now we've got it in the Mini 7, and it works really well with Apple AI, because you've got 8 gigabytes of RAM and the processor's perfectly fine for Apple AI. So now you've got a perfectly good tablet with Apple Intelligence on it, but that's the main reason for the upgrade essentially. So they didn't really want to do a big upgrade. A lot of people wanted an OLED screen, this fantastic mini tablet, and basically a Pro mini tablet. And I thought Apple are never going to do this because the market is not there, and it would basically kill the Pro market on their other tablets. So think about if you could buy this for like £800 as a Pro version, people wouldn't buy the big M4 Pro tablets. They would be looking at this one instead. So I think we never were going to get an OLED screen this time around, but the screen is really good. It's an 8-inch TFT screen, LCD display. I think it's a really good screen, so I wouldn't worry about it. It's the same screen as a Mini 6, so if you are got a Mini 6 and you're happy with it, don't worry about it, or don't upgrade for the screen. It's exactly the same. So why did I decide to buy the iPad mini 7? The reason why I bought one is because I've always wanted a mini. So I've got here one of the original mini iPads that I found lying around in my drawer. This is years old and it's really slow. I charged it up, it took ages to charge up, and it's really slow. It's got a non-laminated screen, so compared to this, it shows how far we've come in the past couple of years. This is lost support for Apple iOS a long time ago, but the speed of the device, it's got the original home button on it, look, you can see there. So it was really interesting to get this mini out, have a play around with it compared to the new generation, because we can see how far we've come with them. So I bought this because I've always wanted to try another mini tablet. I always thought the mini tablet was for some people who weren't serious about what the performance was on the phone. So as we've been over, the design of the iPad mini hasn't changed a lot. What has changed is hasn't changed, but we've still got the fingerprint reader on the side, so we've got Touch ID up here, which actually works really well. A lot of people were hoping for Face ID, but we didn't get that on the new iPad mini. But in terms of, so let's kind of go over sort of using this in the real world, which is the basis of this channel. In terms of the front-facing camera, let's start with that first. So the iPad lineup, the iPad Pros and the iPad Airs recently moved the front-facing camera to the landscape position on the tablet. So that gave you the ability, when you're doing FaceTime calls, to find it easier to hold the tablet around. You didn't have to do that. And it was just a much better place to put the camera. So they've not done that on the Mini. So apparently the reason why they didn't do that was because of the Apple Pencil Pro. So to fit the magnetic charging feature in for the Pencil, which is on top here, they had to put the hardware in that part of the screen, so they couldn't move the camera there. So is this a big problem? No, not really. The screen factor's smaller, so if you're using a 13-inch tablet and you've got the camera there on the portrait side of things, then yes, it is a problem. But from what I've found in everyday testing and real world use, it's not a problem at all using the camera as the portrait lineup. So no, that isn't. I've not noticed any issues having the camera there at all. So how do you find How do I find Apple Pencil Pro? So I think this is coming from someone like me, say, who never ever really liked the Apple Pencil. So I wouldn't class myself, I'm not an artist, I don't do a lot of drawing, and I thought the Apple Pencil is not for me. I would never use this device. Would I buy one? But I decided for the channel to go ahead and buy the Pencil Pro with the Mini when I bought it. And actually, I've been loving it. So as a note-taking device, I've used this every day to take notes for this channel. And it's been driving the channel, basically. It's been running this channel for the past couple of weeks, because all the notes and brainstorms, ideas for content have come off this Mini. So as a portable note taker, it's great. I found good apps on here that run excellent note-taking ability. So Apple Notes isn't very good. I didn't particularly like that, but I found a couple of apps on the App Store. One called Good Notes, which was really good. So I tried that and it worked really well. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, by the way, just to confirm. I just really like the app. So now I use all that for my note-taking, and I use this pencil, and also Final Cut Pro on the tablet. So let's kind of go over the power of this thing now. So this has got the A17 Pro CPU in it, cut down, I know it has, but this can run Final Cut Pro and edit video on it. And I've also used this to record multi-camera footage, as you'll see from my multi-camera guide for the channel, and it looks brilliant. It looks great, and it renders you can do Apple ProRes rendering on this Mini now. So that is the power of this tablet compared to this one that can barely even load up Apple Photos now. So this has come so far over the past 5 or 6 years. You've now got this portable mini powerhouse that you can take on. It's so light, you can throw it in your bag, and to me, this is one of the best tablets Apple have ever made. I think this is the one that most people should buy. It's the best value for money. So where does it compare in the lineup? So you've got the Apple iPad 10th generation below it, so that starts at about $369, and you've got the iPad Air above it. So yes, the 10th generation gets the bigger screen, a bigger form factor, but you lose out on the fully laminated display. So what does that mean? So the screen on this is really nice and easy to press. It has excellent, you can press it really easily. It has no problem, the glass doesn't bend. So if you haven't got a laminated display, the glass and the screen are separate, so it bends when you press it and feels less quality. I would go for one of these over the 10th generation. I think you lose a bit of screen real estate, but for the performance gain, because you've got a much faster chip and a much better screen, then and it's just better than the 10th generation. I would go for this one, unless the 10th generation is perfect for school student kids. It's great for all those kind of markets. Where does it compare to the Air then? So the Air starts at about, I think it starts at about 700 quid, 600 pounds, maybe a bit less. So the Air obviously has if you want a bigger screen with the laminated display, and then you're looking at the more powerful chips like the M series chips, the Air is for you. So I looked at the iPad Air M2 recently. That has a really powerful M2 chip, and it runs really fast. It can power through Final Cut Pro. It does feel faster than this in use. So the M series chips are great. So I would go for the iPad Air if you need to use it for more powerful tasks. So for the Mini though, for note-taking, everyday use, it's an excellent tablet. So one thing I wanted to look at was whether Apple's cases for the iPad Mini are worth it. So this cost £59, I think it was, which is really expensive. As we know, Apple really overcharged for their cases. So the iPhone cases start at about £49. So the Folio case is really good. So it is it's colour matched to your iPad, and it gives you the ability to stand up the iPad and work on it, and also to type on it. It offers front and back protection, but it does not protect the side of the iPad. So the side of the iPad is left fully exposed on the folio case. So there are better cases out there. So I would recommend that you look elsewhere at cases and just skip the folio case because it's not the best one on the market. You can get folio cases from third-party manufacturers that do the same thing for less money. So have a look on Amazon, there might be some available on there that are better, especially with it being Black Friday at the moment. Next question is, who should buy the iPad mini 7? So is it worth buying it, upgrading from the iPad mini 6, for example? If you are happy with your iPad mini 6 and it runs perfectly well and it's doing everything you need it to do, you've got enough storage, then no, don't bother. Because all you've got on the iPad mini 7 is a faster CPU, Apple Intelligence camera with Smart HDR4. So nothing really that different in terms of the iPad mini 6. It looks the same, the screen's the same. You've got the Apple Pencil Pro support, so that is one big selling point. I think it's the main selling point of the iPad in my opinion, but that's just for my needs. So if you've got a mini 5 or 4, or you're coming from something like this ancient beast, which is now a relic, classed as a historic product probably by Apple, then I would go for the Mini 7. It's really worth the upgrade over those kind of older iPads because you'll notice the power difference, the chip's really good, the Apple Pencil Pro is excellent, you can use the hover function on it, you can draw on it, it's just really good how it works, how it attaches magnetically to the top of the Mini. So I think after my 1 month long opinion is the iPad mini 7 is one of my favourite Apple tablets I've used. I've tried the Pros, I've tried the Airs, and it's one of my favourite tablets. I use it every day for note taking, and I love the form factor. If you need the bigger screen, then go for the Air, but the Mini is the one I would look at, and it's a great gift for someone for the holiday season as well. So thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to the channel.